So, welcome to the first episode of Actually You Know What. And you're the first of all, you're the first guest. Second of all, you are the first person that is going to be on video. I've never done video for the podcast before.
Oh,
So,
sick.
yeah, so welcome on in, Ben. It's been a minute since I've talked to you and your wife. Hopefully you guys have been good, but really quick, I just want to give us an introduction. Tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Ben. Benjamin Truss is what I go by. I'm a pro wrestler, professional cool guy. I like to say. I like to tell people. And uh, married to my wife Amanda, who does pro wrestling commentating and ring announcing and stuff like that on occasion. But we're married, have kids, and careers and busy lives.
Super busy lives. And you and I met back, I want to say it was like 2014, 2015,
Yeah, sometime.
yeah, at a comic book convention. And it always stood out in my mind because if I remember correctly, the first thing that you said to me was, my girlfriend is going to love your costume. And
Yeah,
you remember that? I think I was She-Hulk Hogan, I think.
you
And
were.
and like I remember that stood out in my mind, and I think you went to go get her or something. She was in the bathroom or something like that, and I was like, "Oh, that's so cute."
Yeah. So a couple things. I was at an indie wrestling show and I actually saw you there at one point. I didn't say hi or anything like that, but I knew you were like a cosplayer. And then we were going to a con a couple weeks later, and on the car right there, Amanda showed me your Instagram because you had like posted like I'll be there and the She-Hulk Hogan thing, and uh, she was like, "Oh, this is so awesome!" Da 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 da. And I was like, "Oh yeah," like in my head, I'm like, I saw her at an indie show, because at the time, I don't think I was wrestling matches yet. I think I was still in training. So I was just like there setting up the ring and doing that kind of stuff. And then we get to the comic convention and we park, and I can't. But you were doing like a photo shoot, I'm pretty sure,
Probably, yeah, that
in like
around
this
that
parking
time.
garage
Yeah,
thing.
I
Yeah,
do remember
and I was like,
that.
"Holy shit, we were just talking about you like 10 minutes ago."
That's
And you're
so
like right
funny.
there. You were like the first. We didn't see any other people in cosplay yet, and Amanda was like decked out in a costume. And you were like just happened to be like we were just talking about you 10 minutes ago, and then like you just happened to be like right there when we parked.
That's so bizarre. That is so crazy
Yeah,
how
that's what
that
happened.
stuff
I got
works.
out to go pay for the parking because it was like one of those things where you got to like uh, kiosk. I think is the word
Yeah.
kiosk. So I was at the kiosk like paying for the park, and then I was like, "Oh, she's right there! Holy shit!" And I had to run and go get her.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was I mean like 10, 12 years ago almost.
it had to be
And
like 2015, 2016,
yeah,
maybe.
I want to say it was 2015 or something to me. Yeah, it could have been 2016. It was around that time. And yeah, at the time you and Amanda were it was you guys were dating, and
Yeah.
over the years I've seen you guys progress from dating to engaged to married to having a kid, and throughout all of that I've seen you guys both be involved in wrestling and above everything else. And I that's the main reason why I wanted to have you on, is because you have done, from what I can see and what I know, you have done such a wonderful job of balancing, your marriage, your relationship, and your family life with wrestling. And I know you have like jobs outside of that and everything too. And I know how outspoken you are about how much, you love your wife and how crazy you are about her. And that's something that I don't see a lot of in that industry and in any entertainment industry, I think. And I think that was the main reason why I was like, you are essentially like a walking counter narrative to everything that I've experienced, to, things that friends of mine have experienced and everything. So I was like, I really want to have you on and kind of pick your brain a little bit and just get an insight into it, because I feel like a lot of the podcast is us talking about red flags and experiences and everything else. And I think it would do really well for people that are listening and myself, to hear like the positive, to hear like good things. And I think it would be a little bit healing.
Yeah, okay, well,
You're like, I'm in.
yeah,
uh,
down.
okay, so but before we get into that, I did want to kind of talk to you about wrestling because I know it's a huge part of who you are and what you do and everything. And I was wondering how you got into it. And when we first met, I think you said you were already in wrestling back then. So
Yeah.
how did you first get into it?
So funny enough story, like I wrestled my whole life, like high school collegiate wrestling, that style wrestling. And it's like I even did some in college, and I feel like when you're done, like nowadays, the only two options are like if you want to keep doing something athletic and like use those skills that you've worked your whole life on, it's like you either have to be like a MMA fighter or like pro wrestling, you know. And I don't actually want to like. I'm more of a performer. I'm like more um, of a showman. I like to be silly, and you can't really do that in uh, mixed martial arts or like maybe some, but like not until a certain level. I don't know, but I didn't want to stress Amanda out. But and when we met, she was a big wrestling fan already. So actually, we had dated for a year, and I wasn't. I'd finished wrestling in college, and right before we started dating, and then we dated for a year. And for our 1 year uh, anniversary, she paid for my wrestling lessons, my pro wrestling lessons.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
nice.
we would go to like indie shows like as like dates because
Hmm.
like we both liked indie wrestling.
Yeah, it's a shared
So
hobby, shared interest that you guys had. So of course, like you turn that into a date night. That would be a great date
yeah.
night. You guys are both into it. You guys are both having fun. That's fantastic. That's really great. So then, how did you meet Amanda?
Oh man, this is I hate this story. Well, I love telling the story. She's gonna hate that I tell it all the time. So how I met her was we had a lot of mutual friends, like we were in each other's orbit. And I was at a party one day after um her and her boyfriend broke up, and I was kind of having a bad night at this party. This is just so funny. I'm sitting in this chair, kind of like mind my own business, while this like college house party is going on, and my friend Aaron, um, he's this like light skinned gay man, comes and sits on my lap, and he's like, "Ben, I have the perfect girl for you. She just broke up with a boyfriend. Like, you guys would be great together." And he like shows me her Facebook, and I'm like, "No, I'm not just gonna like Facebook creep this girl and whatever, you know." And then uh, I get drunk at the party, and the next day I'm hungover, and I'm at my sister's house because like that was my like go to spot when I'm hungover is like go to my sister's house. She'll feed me, buy me Gatorade, baby me, my older sister, and my brother in law was like, "Dude, I went to high school with this girl. She's super cool. You guys would be great together." And he shows me the exact same girl, and I'm like
Whoa,
that's two people in like
that's
8 hours.
crazy. And
Yeah, like
they hadn't talked. They didn't know
no,
either.
they don't
That's
really even know
crazy.
each other. So I was like, okay. So I sent her like a friend request, and then I DM'd her, slid into her DMs, and I'm like 19 at this point, and
Yeah.
she's like 20 something.
Hmm.
Uh, and 'cause she's like 5 years older than me. But I'm like, hey, like my name's I asked her out. She told me no, because I was 19.
Right. Sure.
So, so for like the next 2 years, um, I would just like periodically ask her out, like every few months. I don't want to be too aggressive.
Okay.
Um, and she would let me down gently, I will say,
Sure.
every time. Like she wasn't mean, and like she would tell me no, but then like a week later, she'd message me something funny
Yeah.
or like comment on one of my photos. So like she wasn't like just completely like blow me off.
Hmm.
Um, and then I was about 21, I think, and we finally hung out. We got to the point where we were like texting every day.
Okay.
Anyway, like I'd wake up and have like good morning texts from her. I'm like, can we just go out on a date? Like,
Just let me
please.
take you out, please.
Yeah. So that's kind of how we met.
That's so cool. That is so bizarre. And I'm such a believer in that if something is meant for you, it's going to be shoved in your face until you like take it. And the fact that two different people on two different days were like, I have somebody for you. That's
Yeah, it was
crazy.
like within like 12 hours of each other. It's
That's
like,
bonkers. That is
and like she had
that's
just
cool.
broke up with her boyfriend too. So at that point, so like telling me no for 2 years is fine. She probably needs some time to like,
Sure, yeah, she was taking the time that she needed. That's crazy. That's a cool story. I love that. Um, so then in your dating adventures with Amanda, at what point were you like, this is not just a person I want to date. This is a person that I want to build a life with. This is a person that I could see myself with. Was there one certain instance? I know for some people they're like, this happened and it made me, that's when I knew. But and other people, obviously, it's multiple things. It's, over time, whatever. But which one was it for you?
I I know when it hit me when I was like, oh, I want to marry her, or like, so there's that. But I think too, like, and I tell her this all the time, um, because girls get insecure. They're like, oh, why do you love me? Oh, you don't ever
Yeah, of
say
course.
I'm pretty. I'm like, no, but uh, like when I met her, I was like, this is just the coolest girl. Like I hung out with her like once, and I was like, this is just the coolest girl I've ever met. Like I don't know if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, I mean, that makes total. So it was
it,
pretty early on.
yeah, it was like this is like I'm literally like this is the coolest girl ever. Like she knew cool stuff, and like I was a huge Dungeons and Dragons fan. Like I
Okay.
play the games and stuff. And like her cover photo on Facebook was like Drizzt Stewart, and she read all the books and she knew all the lore. And we talked about comic books and we watched the same TV shows, and I was like, this girl's the coolest. And
You're like,
like
yeah.
I feel like Amanda just has that effect on people. Like if you spend any time with Amanda, you're like, this girl is great. Like,
Yeah. She is. She really is, and it doesn't hurt that she's also gorgeous. So I'm sure that
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
very helpful. But on top of that, right, she's just so sweet and she's so down to earth. And I think I've told you this before, where I'm like, Amanda's one of like the prettiest people I've ever seen. And every time I see her do a new cosplay or any of her cosplays or whatever, I'm like, gosh, she looks so good. Like she has that one Spy X Family one. I think it's Yor. Is that
The
her name?
yeah,
Yeah, she
yeah.
and remember seeing that, being like, damn it, she looks so good. That's a great
She did
cosplay.
she did one during COVID, a Princess Bubblegum one.
Okay.
Uh, and like she's painted pink and like fully clothed, and but her face is in the photo shoot, and I feel like it was during COVID, and like I don't know, so it didn't get like all the attention it deserves. But I was like, that is like the best Princess Bubblegum I've seen, and like she
Yeah.
looks beautiful, and like still has that like innocence of Adventure Time and like cartooniness of it. So
Yeah.
I don't know, that's like my favorite person, but your I love your
Yeah. I mean,
waifu.
yours a cool one. Um, that's really cool. So then, comparing yourself back when you guys first met, you or started talking at early 20s for you is when you guys started dating, right? Your early 20s.
I
Um,
was yeah, she was like mid-20s, I was like 21.
yeah. So comparing yourself to 21-year-old Ben to 20 or to how old are you now? You're
33.
33. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a long time to be dating. It's crazy
Yeah,
to
it's
know that,
together.
like, yeah, I've known you for a long time. It's so crazy. But I guess comparing yourself 21-year-old Ben to 33-year-old Ben now, when you first started dating Amanda to now married, you have your family and everything. How would you say are that you are different?
I mean, everyone grows up. Um, so like there's that natural like progression of maturity that everyone goes through.
Hmm.
Um, but I I was pretty much the same guy at 21 that I am at 33, just like calmer and more responsible. That everyone does. We did a great job of like growing together too,
Hmm.
and like you I do a good job of taking care of Amanda's like wild side, and she was maturing too, and then like she does a good job of taking care of like all the things I'm bad at, like
Mm-hmm.
which um I don't at this point I don't know what I'd do without her, but
Well, it sounds
you
like you
saw
guys take
how
care of each other.
yeah, it's like we do a very good job of like we grew as a team,
Mm-hmm.
and that helps. And like and like we've had 12 years to do it, but I don't just to give everyone hope, you don't need 12 years to grow
Yeah.
together. Like you can do that in a year in a relationship. Or like people that get married in 3 years,
Yeah.
after 3 years of dating, just the progression of a relationship.
Right. Well, it sounds like it was really helpful that you guys had all of these things in common because it's like you guys had this friendship that you were building for a long time. Yes, you wanted to date her for a
Like
certain
two
amount. Yeah, but it sounds
yeah,
like you
like
had a
just
base.
and I think that's so important in a relationship, like looking back, and I can only go off mine, but we had like 2 years of talking to each other and
Yeah.
being like just internet friends. And then when we started going out on dates, like there's like 6 months before we made it like Facebook official. We would
Yeah.
like go on dates, hang out. She's like, I mean, looking back, I've talked to her friends and like, well, she was nervous because you were younger and this and that, and
That's
it's like
totally fair. Yeah.
we didn't like we didn't rush anything, and I feel like people do that a lot in relationships now. It's like
Yeah.
they go on one date and then they're like, so this is our thing now.
Yeah, that is actually something that I've talked about briefly where I feel like with social media now, people are looking more for the outside validation. So they start dating somebody and they immediately want to start posting about them or whatever. And it's kind of like to throw it in people's faces of like, oh, look what I have, look what I'm doing now. I have somebody. And I think social media has a lot to do with that. And I think um, something I learned from my relationship last year is you have to give a relationship time and you have to give like yourselves time to get to know each other to really know if you want to continue dating because sometimes people have masks up or sometimes you're presenting a different part of yourself or different version of yourself because you want to appease the other person and you can't keep that mask up forever. So I think
No.
at some point that mask goes down and you are yourself and at that point that's when you need to decide, okay, do I want to continue this? Are we still compatible? Do we still get along? Or is this like this is actually not going to work, but now I'm trapped because we're in a relationship? Do I like
And it's
it's
public and everyone
yeah.
on social media seeing it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
now if I like break up, everybody's going to ask me about it. It's like a so yeah, I get the whole wanting to keep things private and kind of doing your own thing, but then I also understand wanting the validation of, whatever of like don't keep me private. And that'll kind of segue into our next topic where, I've been in a situation where I've dated people in entertainment industries and wrestlers and musicians and whatever else and the whole keeping things private, while I understand it, I've always been on the other end on it of it where I've been hidden. And there's a difference, right, between wanting to keep things private and being hidden. And it's a very fine line and it's a scary one. So I guess segueing into love in wrestling and love in the entertainment industry and love in as an athlete, any sort of industry like that, it's so full of, I mean, it's full of traveling, it's full of touring, fans, and people constantly trying to reach out to you and get a hold of you, and maybe people sliding into your DMs. And when it comes to you and your relationship, I guess what do you do, if anything, to kind of protect that, to kind of make sure that nobody infiltrates this, beautiful thing that you guys have?
Yeah. I mean, okay. So there's a lot to that. Sorry, I got a phone call
No, it's
to
okay.
answer. So, I don't even know where to start. Let me think. Keeping it private, or like, I do think when you date someone, you should, um, like, maybe not immediately post each other.
Hmm.
Maybe take like go on like 10 dates with someone before you decide. Like, introduce them to all your friends. Because
Hmm.
that's another big thing in relationships. It's like, does this person get along with your friend group? Do you get along with
Huge.
their friend group?
Yeah.
And like, it's so much pressure when one of your friends comes over and it's like, oh, this is my girlfriend. you're meeting for the first time,
And you're like, oh,
we're
they're great.
official. Yeah,
No,
it's like
they're
you feel
wonderful.
bad, like yeah, if it's just a
Right.
girl he's hanging out with, you could be like, all right, bro, like
This person sucks. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
you don't feel
we've been there
pressure.
before. We're like, yeah, somebody shows up and they have all of a sudden it's a significant. And I think for me, I've had a hard time trying to figure like out which one I want to do because I've been there where I'll bring somebody that I'm just dating around my friends, but then it's like, oh yeah, he didn't work out, so here's the next one, and then that kind of feels weird where it's like I'm just bringing around these nobodies that they don't know. But then at the same time, I've brought around, oh, this is my boyfriend. People are like, oh, we haven't heard anything about
No,
him.
I what you're saying is like I feel like that's part of being a friend. Like you and your
Mhm.
girlfriends are friends, and part of their job of being your friends is, hey, when I bring a freaking strange dude around that I'm kind of interested in, I want you guys to give me your honest feedback. That's
Right.
their job. Like I know you're like I don't want to bring all these nobodies around my friends, but
It's
that's like
tough.
their job as your friend.
Yeah, it
And,
is.
like, you
It's
should do the same thing for your girlfriends and, like, guy
right.
friends the same way, like,
Right.
that's just part of being a friend.
I feel like it is something nowadays where like everybody is so skittish now though where if I'm like, "Oh, I want to bring you to like meet my friends," they're like, "Whoa, slow down." I'm like, God, no, we're not going into the
Well,
chapel. Relax. We're gonna go
yeah,
play
there's that too.
Jenga.
I feel like
Chill.
I don't know if this is just my perception too, I feel like COVID, like, changed some things too
Yeah.
because, like, people were like, if you just start dating and then COVID hit, like, now you're trapped in this, like, relationship if you don't
Hmm.
wanna, like, be alone and inside. And then, like, I don't know where I'm going with this, but, like, I feel like it's kinda changed the from what I've
Yeah.
seen and I'm on the outside looking in, so
Right.
there's
I think
that.
COVID has a lot to. This is something we've talked about too, where I think COVID changed a lot of how society is and how people interact and people's social skills and everything. So I think, you know, I don't know. It's also it has to do with just times changing and social media and everybody being so easily accessible and everything being online. So you don't really have to connect with people face to face anymore. So that kind of changes things. So um
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, as far as, being on the road and traveling and going to shows, and obviously there's going to be fans, there's going to be people that, want to access, your DMs because, you're a male wrestler and you're attractive. And then there's Amanda who's also in the wrestling industry, and Amanda's beautiful, and I'm sure people are trying to like talk to her too. Is there anything that, or do you guys just kind of ignore everything, or because it is, I also understand what it's like to you have to be friendly to people too, right? Because you don't want to be
Yeah.
a dick to
You
people,
well, you
and
gotta sell merch.
exactly, and I
Or you
and
don't
I
want someone to be like, "I meant Ben Trust at a show," and he's
and
a
he's
big
a piece of
asshole,
shit.
like
Yeah, he's a piece of
yeah,
shit or
yeah.
whatever. Like I sent him a message and he's, and I get that because yes, these are people that are supporting you still and everything, and you wanna save face and whatever. But at the same time, it is such a fine line between being nice to people, and I've experienced this. I'm sure Amanda's experienced it where you're nice to someone and then they take that as something else. So it's like, okay, well, how nice do I have to be, or can I be, before it turns into you thinking that I want something more? Like it's a weird thing to navigate, in my opinion. So I'm somebody that I was in cosplay and kind of dealt with that a little bit. I'm not on the
I
level of
imagine.
what you guys are, where you guys are at shows all the time. So I think you guys probably deal with it on a way bigger scale.
Um, man, there's so much to unpack again. Uh, so, like, if I know a lot of wrestlers have 2 social medias, like, they have
Hmm.
their personal and then their character. I think that's smart because you do if your partner wants you to post her, and this is I'm just speaking from a guy's point of view, like, post her on your personal stuff because that's
Hmm.
your personal relationship. It's weird if, you know, the steamroller, Ricky Roller, I'm just making up a name, like, is dating Sally that
Hmm.
comes to shows, or
Right.
Sally that he works with at Amazon.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it kind of breaks the immersion.
It breaks the
Uh,
illusion of this person being a like, now they're being humanized to say, oh, this is an actual
yeah,
person now. Yeah.
yeah, he's not the steamroller anymore or whatever.
Right. Oh, like, this guy who plays a piece of shit in the ring is taking this girl on a really nice date. What the hell?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that makes sense where it's like, wait a minute. Yeah,
I'm in
I
like
totally
this
understand.
unique position though. I only have one social media. It's just Ben Trust.
Hmm.
But I'm in this unique position where like wrestling is. They always tell you to like take your own personality and crank it to like 11 or 12 whatever, and like the normal me is a kind of a simp for Amanda. So when you crank that to 11, it's like it
Right.
becomes what you see on the internet, um, and what you see from Ben Truss with like her on the back of my jackets and
Right.
all that stuff.
Right. Well, it helps that she's
So
also in the industry as well.
yeah,
Probably, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
That's
and I wanted a bomber's jacket. I like pinup. I like all that stuff. So it's like I really wanted that. I'm like, well, I got to put a girl on it. I'm like, am I going to use a drawing or just some random person? I'm like, no, it'd be really cool if I used my wife.
yeah.
Um,
I love that.
so like that's where that comes from. There is a difference between like the character I play and me in person, which I think is funny because like I like telling the story, but and my close friends know, but like at a wrestling show, I can like grab Amanda and kiss her in front of like a bunch of people.
Right.
Like PDA is not a problem for Ben Trust,
Right.
but like in real life, if we're out at the mall or like on a date and she's like, "Give me a kiss," I'm like, "Oh, there's people around." I'm like,
Oh, really? Oh, that's so
yeah, so
funny.
it's so different. It's like when I'm in character, it's like I don't care. Like it's Ben Trust is cool, and
That's what he
he's
does.
got a hot
Yeah.
wife, and he makes out with her in front of people. And it's like
Right.
the real me is like, oh, I
Like,
don't
oh
really,
God, and people
yeah.
are looking at us. That's so funny. That's so interesting that you're like that because right, you don't seem like that at all when it comes to your character, which I guess is a testament to how well you play that character. So
Yeah,
that's so interesting. I don't look
yeah.
at me. No, I
Yeah,
get
it's like,
that.
or I'll be like, we're holding hands. I'm like, oh no, we're holding
Oh
hands. It's
God.
like, you know what I mean? But then like, I'm in front of like 600 people dipping her and kissing her. So there's,
Right. Yeah, it's all part of the thing.
uh,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know where I was
interesting.
going with any of this, but yeah.
No, totally fine. So then I guess the next question I would have is about when it comes to trusting people in the
Oh,
industry, as far as, because again, going back to, I've dated multiple people in different kind of industries that are similar to this. And I know in my experience, it's always been extremely difficult to trust people. And um, I guess when it comes to you and Amanda, how do you show up? How do you make sure that that trust is there and that like nothing is breaking that? Or is it something that you guys just kind of have an understanding about? I mean, it could be as easy as that.
I think trust is like in a relationship, it's kind of like, first let me phrase, like, I know how it is in pro wrestling. I can only imagine how it is in like music or anything else. Cheating is notorious in pro wrestling, and it's very sad. Um, but like trust is kind of like a gamble, you just gotta like bet on black and you know ride. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah, I
So
think
like, and it
I
gets easier the more you do it. So
right.
we've done it so much at this point that, and I've never gave her any red flags where it's like she knows the password of my phone. If she wants to see some of my phone, she can. I don't
Yeah.
care. Like she doesn't even look, but she could if she wanted to. And like I check in with her like, oh, I got to the show, oh, this and that, da 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 da. And then also like, because she goes to like concerts and stuff, then I stay home with the kid and whatnot. And so there's like this two-way street about it. But it's like, yeah, once you like have this foundation of trust, it's like really hard to break.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about trust is it's like it takes a lot of work to build, but like once you have it with someone, it's like they just you don't even like she doesn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Also, I dudes do this weird thing where like when they're around a pretty girl, if they're dating another pretty girl, they just like won't bring up their girlfriend
Mhm.
or wife or whatever. Like I'm sure you've seen that.
Yeah, plenty of times.
Uh, and like I'll see it and I'll be like, dude, why you acting weird? Like,
Like, what are you
they're like, what
doing?
did you do
Yeah.
this weekend? Oh, nothing. It's like, no, you and your girlfriend went to the thing. It's like when
Yeah.
it's all Fantastic Four. It's not, why are you being weird?
Why are you not
Um,
mentioned? Why are you leaving that out? It's that I call that lying
yeah,
by omission. Like that
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
bizarre thing
There's
that
a
it's
lot
like,
of that.
come on.
There's a lot. and I don't want to say just dudes do it because I'm sure girls do it too, but
Sure,
like,
yeah. I think on both ends of the spectrum. I've seen it on both ends too, whereas both men and
yeah,
women. So,
and
um,
like Amanda trusts me because I never stopped talking about her, so it was like,
yeah. And that's the thing is that you're so public about it, and because it's part of your persona, I'm sure that helps too. But yeah, I think the trust thing is something that I've again always have had trouble with, and it's kind of one of those the mentality I've been trying to get into is to just kind of be like, you kind of have to trust because if you don't, I mean, like, then you're just going to be anxious the entire time. And, it's like you just got to hope for the best. And if it turns out, shitty, then it turns out shitty. And then you just move on to the next one. But there's nothing you can do to stop it, though. And if it's going to happen,
I
it's going to happen.
I do feel bad. I feel like people, when their trust gets broken, they blame themselves, and it's like
Yeah.
in my opinion, that's misplaced anger because
Hmm.
like whoever broke the trust is the bad person, and it's like you're never wrong for trusting someone.
Right.
Does that make sense? But like I see
Sure.
people like when they get cheated on, they're like, I should have known. I should have. Why did I didn't do this? I should. It's like no, you did everything right by
Right.
like trusting them,
Right.
uh, and they did all the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
So like, don't be mad at yourself.
Right. Yeah,
You
and
know,
that's
like,
something that I heard a lot of after my relationship where, it was with an athlete and people were like, "Oh, well you should have known." I got a lot of that and I was like,
yeah, it's like that's
that's
dumb.
that's not fair to me. Like it's not
No,
like
tell
why
those
am
people
I
they're
being
wrong and
blamed?
dumb.
Yeah, why am I being
Yeah, like,
blamed for something
you're
this
supposed to
person did?
trust your partner.
Yeah, exactly. And what I learned a lot from that relationship and other relationships is that, if they're going to, cheat on me, if they're going to screw around behind my back, whatever, it's going to happen whether or not I worry about it. So, like, whether I yell at them for not texting me or whatever else, like, at this point, it's kind of like, you know what, do whatever you want to do, I guess, and we'll see what happens. And it's hard. It's definitely hard to get that way. So, speaking of, kind of just like people being you cannot being able to trust people and whatever else when it comes to that industry wrestling or athletes etc. Do you think that the more fame and attention that they get that changes people, or do you think that that just kind of amplifies who they already are, or do you think it's both?
Man. So like from personal experience, my girlfriend before Amanda, she got a lot of followers on Instagram, and then it was like dudes in her DMs. I was like a broke college kid, and I, so I've experienced what you're kind of talking about because her
Mm-hmm.
Instagram blew up. Um, and I don't know. I think it's kind of like reveals them more than anything. Like, I mean, obviously they say like that can change you, but I don't feel like it always changes you. I think it's if you're prone to it, you're just prone to it,
Mm-hmm.
and you get to see who they really are when they have more options,
Right.
you know. Um, and that's like, I don't think Amanda's with me because she has no other option. You know what
Right.
I mean? I think
Right.
Amanda's with me because she loves me.
Yeah.
So like, but that's not everyone's relationship. Sometimes they're just with each other because they live in a small town,
Yeah.
or they don't have a big community, or they went to the same small high school, or they work at the same small job,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden they get connected to this bigger community, you know.
Yeah. And it's different opportunities that kind of arise and all of a sudden and that's what I mean about like the more attention that they get is you are with a person and you're loyal to that person, but then all of a sudden maybe you're gaining more traction in a certain industry and you're getting more attention, and all of a sudden the girls are sliding into the DMs or the guys are sliding into the DMs. Do you take that opportunity because whoa, I've never had this many people give me this much attention, I'm gonna feed into it, and or do you just go, I don't need all this attention? But it's a weird thing, I think. Yeah, I think it does
Yeah,
reveal them. I think that's a good way of putting it.
yeah, and I think it comes from like your origin, like
Mm-hmm.
because like I said, like me and Amanda were in each other's orbits,
Right.
so we had all plenty of other opportunities with other people, and then we like hit each other's orbits, and it's
Right.
like, okay, well, you had all these other options and you chose me, so you must like me,
Right.
you know where like I think a lot of times when people blow up or they get into some sort of entertainment industry and then they get all these options. They've never had options before, so it becomes exciting.
Right, exactly. It becomes an exciting thing that you want to explore, and you've never gotten this much attention before, so let me just, especially if it's over like social media. Well, I'm just responding to a DM, so, and then that kind of snowballs into something else, and that's when it can get a little bit scary. And yeah, it's like you said, I think that's something to it too, where, and this is something I've always said, that I'm happy that I've dated as much as I have, because now when it comes to like dating somebody, I'm like, well, I'm with you because I want to be with you. Because I have plenty of options. Like I've
Yeah,
dated a lot of different people, and I
exactly.
could have stayed with any one of them, or I could. Yeah, I've always said, like, if I really wanted, if all I wanted was just a boyfriend, I could go out and get one right now. It's not hard, but it's a
Yeah,
matter of
right?
getting somebody
You
that
don't even
you
have to go
like.
out. You can find one
You
on your
literally,
phone.
yeah, you could just, yeah, you're right. You don't have to leave your house or anything now. You can just go on a dating app, and I'm sure you can pick one of them up. But yeah, now it's more like, just wanting to be with somebody that you have fun with and that you're compatible with, and that, hits all these other check boxes, not just, I just want to be with someone, because that's boring. I don't like that. That's stupid. um,
Yeah.
but so then you had mentioned that that cheating is like notorious in wrestling and whatnot. So have you seen relationships fall apart, or things happen like
Oh yeah,
that? All
all the
is that
time.
all
And
the
like
time?
I feel like people because of like everyone knows like I've been told like oh Ben's a wife guy. It's like, that's like a term used in wrestling like oh he's a body guy, he's a spots guy, he's a luchador. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there's a joke like oh Ben's a wife guy, but like so I won't hear about it and then I'm like I show up to a show, I see someone I haven't seen in a few months. I'm like, "Oh, hey, how's the girlfriend?" They're like, "Oh, we broke up." I'm like, "What
Oh,
happened?" Or oh, stuff. And then like later on I found out he cheated on her or this or that. I'm like no
well,
one tells me shit.
yeah.
So, but like I see it,
Right.
or I see her at a show and she'll be like, "Oh, he didn't tell you," or, "Oh well," and it's not just him. Like I've seen girls cheat on.
Yeah.
Um, it's
Well, yeah,
just as
they're
bad.
not
Like
going to tell you
the
because you're the
girl
wife guy.
wrestlers. Yeah, exactly. It's like no one tells me. It's
They're going
like
to be
I'm always the last one to know. Like I've
right.
had fans tell me. I'm like, why didn't I know? Like, oh, you didn't see her post about it? I'm like,
Oh.
no. Like,
Well, I guess yeah. They're probably like they don't want to. You're the wife guy, so I feel like it's almost like they're gonna be disappointing you. It's
yeah.
like,
It's like I
oh,
don't know.
don't tell him. I'm embarrassed by it. So okay, so then moving on to the kind of public versus private, which we did kind of talk about already. How you are so outspoken and so about Amanda, and it is part of your gimmick too, which makes it easier. Is this something that you have always been really outspoken about? Or I know you mentioned earlier that like at the beginning of the relationship, you guys were pretty private about it. Did you become more outspoken about it because of the wrestling gimmick, or did it start before that?
No, it definitely started before that. It was like what I mean by like at the beginning, like we went on dates. She wasn't sure if she wanted to date me because I was like younger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like her friends kind of were like, no, just do you. You like the guy, you're having a good time. There's no reason not to, make it official. Um, but I do like that we took it slow. But no, like I said earlier, like I'm just naturally all about Amanda in a lot of ways. Um, so like your character is just you cranked up, so that's just how it just naturally evolves.
Yeah.
And I even wrestle for a lot of companies that Amanda, doesn't have anything to do with, but like, she's still on my jackets. I have a tattoo of her on my bicep,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Uh, the fans that know,
Yeah.
and I could be that character without Amanda too, but
Right.
it just is what it is,
Well, it goes really well with your gimmick. Is that
Give
like
it, yeah, oh
the
yeah.
same?
And even when I'm a good guy, it's funny because like we just filmed some stuff. It won't be on the internet for a while, but it's like there's other two good guys, and they're like, we're going to hang out, and like Amanda kisses goodbye, and she's like, now be nice to them, and I'm like, fine, I'll be nice, like
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
That's
it
cool.
helps in so many ways.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's really cool that you guys share that. And I think you guys share it, but you also have space apart from it because you wrestle with different companies and work with different companies and whatnot. So it's like, yeah, we have the same hobby and the same like job in a sense, but we're also doing it separately. So
Yeah,
I think I'm sure that's
yeah,
helpful too.
And
So
we have our
then,
own like life outside of wrestling, which is like it's just like our actual relationship, which is
right.
pretty similar to what it is what you see in wrestling, but
Yeah.
like
Just
not
you
as
sipping over her,
bombastic.
which is great. I
Yeah,
love that. Um, so then speaking on, keeping things private and keeping things on the down low, when it comes to men in general, not just men in the entertainment industry or anything like that, but men that are dating, do you think that men are taught or that they learn to downplay how much they care about their significant other or love them or whatever else?
man, I don't know. I'm in this weird phase of my life right now, and I've been talking about this to people, but like I'm 33.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very strong. Uh, I got a good physique. I have a good career, a house, a wife. Um, and I feel like a lot of boys are just so lost. Like every day or like at least once a week, some 18 to 25-year-old boy will like ask me for like life advice. And I'm like, this is how like dumbasses like Andrew Tate become famous is because there's so
Yeah.
many people like this
Mm-hmm.
that don't have any that don't know how to feel like, am I supposed to? Like they're asking that same question. Like, I don't because you're not taught anything. Like,
Right.
am I supposed to be this vocal? Am I supposed to keep it in? It's like,
Right.
so I'm currently like ask me in 5 years and I'll have a better answer because I'm currently like navigating this like, okay, now I'm actively coaching and like influencing like men that are a decade younger than me,
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
like coming into from being like a kid to coming into like who they're gonna be as an adult, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like they see Ben at the gym lift, and like men are dumb, and like you see someone lifting a lot of weight at the gym, and you're like, I'm gonna go,
He's got it figured out.
yeah. He's got like, let me ask him some questions. I'm like, I'm just dumb, guys. Like I'm like
I don't think that
figuring it
you
out.
are dumb though. I think you like you said. I think that you have a lot of what people want, and I think that there are men, and I'm seeing this as I'm getting older, but I think younger men too. I think they do want that ultimately, right? They do want a
Yeah,
wife that they love and that loves them too and loves them unconditionally and they have a family and whatever else. But I do think that there's also a part of like society and social media that kind of like, and guys like Andrew Tate that teach men that you're not, well, that's where the word simp originated from, right? Was that you like
yeah,
somebody too much and that you're like all about them, and it's used in a derogatory manner when it's really just loving somebody too much. I guess if it's your wife, right? It's like when people are like, "Oh, you're a simp for your girlfriend." That's actually just caring about my girlfriend. That's
yeah.
actually
It's
just loving
actually
my girlfriend. Like,
well, I do think there is like simping, and I see guys do it when it's like they're in love with a girl on the internet that's
it's
not
like a
real.
parasocial relationship, right? Where it's
Yeah,
like this is not somebody this is not real love. That's when it's used correctly, but it's very
or
often used
or when they're
incorrectly.
or when they're in a relationship and like you can tell that like she's waiting to move on to the next thing, and he's like all about her. It's like, dude, she's gonna break your heart
And
because
you're
there
like,
are like
yeah,
for as many toxic guys out there as there is, there's some girls that are just straight heartbreakers.
for sure, yeah.
Um, and like all it takes is one of those girls breaking a guy's heart, and then he's on a podcast with headphones and talking
Yeah.
about being a high value man and this and that.
Yeah, I know it
It's like
always stems from a
who
heartbreak, yeah.
who who hurt you, man?
Yeah, no,
Like, that's what I
literally,
want to
like, who
say.
was she? Like,
Yeah, just tell me the
just
truth.
talk
Like, it's
about her.
okay.
We need to
We
heal
all
you
get
from
a heart
this.
broke.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to heal from this before we give you a microphone. Like, please.
Yeah.
Um, that's super interesting. So then, I had a question on here that was like, do we think that there's justification for men or people that wish to keep their partners private? But we kind of already talked about that and how
Yeah.
you want to kind of separate, especially athletes, entertainers, musicians, etc. Like you want to separate the work from that, and I think that's something that I never used to do when it came to cosplay. I always kind of was very open about who I was dating and everything, and I did that more so that like the DMs would kind of stop and slow down or whatever. But
Yeah.
even that doesn't stop certain people
It's
where yeah.
it's such a weird thing because it's like, you know, Jon Snow on Game of Thrones wouldn't be like, "Oh, this is my girlfriend Amy," and we go to the football game together in
Yeah.
Britain. I don't know.
Right.
So it's like you're playing a character,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't always need to be like as overtly public as mine is, but it's like he or she should do enough, like especially if they have their own private, like personal account that's like
Right.
for friends and family. Like
Right.
you should be all over that shit.
Right.
I'm sorry. Are we allowed to cuss? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
you
even
go,
normally.
yeah, I drop F
Okay, I
bombs
don't
all the
normally
time.
just. Okay, I was like,
No, it's fine.
especially pro wrestling, Ben. Like I try not to cuss. Like
Yeah, well, the All
you
American
know.
boy, too, right? Like, that's
Yeah,
kind
well,
of,
even when I'm a bad guy, I try to be like a family friendly bad
yeah,
guy, and
okay.
like,
Family
and I,
friendly bad guy.
well, it's great because it gets you bookings, and it's like
Of
it's so
course.
easy. Is I'm just rant about wrestling for a minute. Like
No, go for
it's
it.
so easy to just go out there and like flip off an old lady and get heat. That's to me,
Right.
that's like cheap heat. That's like saying like, oh, your hometown sports team sucks. Like,
Yeah.
or
I hate this
I'm
city.
gonna,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Right.
It's like I like the challenge of going out there and like not cursing. And I've even
Yeah.
been in like promo battles where it's like you say I have no class. You've said like 30 curse words. I haven't used one. They're gonna have to censor every other thing you say. Like I haven't
Yeah.
said one mean thing, nerd. It's like
I do like when you, because very often I see your stories where you call people nerds and stuff, and I think that's
yeah.
so funny because I love using basic like whenever I'm gaming and if a guy starts talking like shit to me, I'll literally be like, "You're a freak," like
Yeah.
you are so weird, and like the simpler the insult is, I feel like the more angry they get because you're not calling them like, "Oh, you fucking idiot." It's like, "No, you're a freak." And they're like,
Yeah.
"What?"
And yeah, there's something I've said this recently too, where it's like it's something that like you're most insecure in middle school, and you probably got everyone. This is everybody. Everyone probably got picked on the most in middle school.
Yeah.
So if you say an insult that
You're getting all psychological. Oh my
they
god.
heard they heard when they were in middle
Yeah.
school, you know,
It brings them back. They're
like
reverting back to their
it
like
like it
8-year-old
just
selves.
yeah, like because if someone calls you a son of a bitch, you're like, what does that mean?
Whatever.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But like if I call you a nerd and you were
You're
like
like, wait a minute.
in, sixth grade and
Right.
you raised your hand to answer a question right, and then someone's like nerd and the whole class laughed at you, like
You're
that's
like
deep
bringing back
trauma.
trauma. Yeah. You're
Yeah.
like nerd with like a 4-letter word. You're just like bringing up this
Yeah.
trauma from somebody's childhood, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh no." That's so funny. No, I do love
Or
when you say things.
freak,
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
like
I
that's
love
that's
the
such a good
freak.
one. It's
I'm just
like,
like, or I'll call people like, I'm like, "You're weird." And they're like,
yeah, yeah, you're weird. Yeah.
"What?"
Because that like I'm gonna go back to middle school. Like they got a new hairdo, and they're like, "This is gonna be so cool." And then they got to school, and then someone's like, "You look weird," and they're like, "No, I don't look
No.
weird," and
And
then
then everybody
and then
laughs.
like
Right.
yeah, and then next thing you know, you're an adult, and they're being weird on
Right.
whatever video game you're playing. They're like, "You're weird."
You're
I'm like,
weird.
oh,
No,
all the
God.
trauma.
God, take me back. And just like, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I love those simple insults on video games. And again, it's only when somebody's being a real dick to me. That's when I just like revert back to I'm just like, okay, freak. Like, and then they don't say
love it.
anything anymore. And I'm like
They're like,
it's a video game.
"Oh,
Shut
it's
up. But
it's like hard to argue." Yeah,
yeah, you can't really argue against somebody calling you a nerd or a freak. You're like, damn, I ain't got nothing.
yeah,
but but yeah, I think so then we'll just kind of shift, and this is gonna be a huge shift because I don't really have a way to segue into this, but you guys are parents. And you guys have been parents
yes,
for a while now, and I've seen the little one grow, and it's so sweet to see you guys as parents. Because again, I know I'm older than you guys, and I've seen you guys go from boyfriend girlfriend to I've seen the path along the way, and it's just so sweet to see you guys with having a family and everything else. And I know that one of my best friends had a baby about a year and a half ago, and I know how drastically it changes your life. And knowing that you guys have jobs plus wrestling plus each other plus I'm sure you guys have friends and family and everything else, and now you have a baby to take care of. What was the biggest change in your relationship? Not just like with you guys, but like in the relationship itself, in your marriage.
Oh man, I don't think we ever really disagreed until we had a kid.
Really interesting.
So like we
Okay.
had to like navigate our first big like arguments, and that was like,
Really?
yeah, that's like hard. I'll throw this one out here because this is like the biggest one is that we had is like it'll be kind of cool outside, and she'll want to put Finn in like a big coat, and I'm like, I know you're cold because you're like a tiny little person, but like I'm a sweaty boy. I remember what it was like being a sweaty boy as a kid. Like you
Yeah.
put that coat on me, doesn't unless it's snowing outside, I'm gonna sweat and I'm
Yeah.
gonna be miserable. And she's like, well, I don't want him to get sick. I'm like, he's gonna be fine. Like that was our
Right.
we fought about that every day. I'm
That's
like, he
so
does
crazy.
not need
Yeah.
this. Now he's a little older and he can kind of tell us like, I don't want
Right.
this.
But
And
when
I'm like,
they're
see, I told
little,
you he was a sweaty.
sweaty boy.
Yeah, like or like, you know, I'm like, he needs to take a bath because he's a sweaty boy and he's gonna
Hmm.
smell real bad. And she's like, oh, I'm sure, like, because girls and guys are different. I'm like, no, we got to start now. Because when he's a teenager, he's not gonna want to take baths. And like,
Right.
I remember being a teenage boy, like, I don't need to take a bath. I'll just spray all this Axe body spray.
Oh,
Like, you
yeah.
don't, like, I'm trying to get ahead of it, sweetie.
Yeah. Oh no,
And there's things
ugh.
I do too that she wants to kill me about. She'll be like, did you pack this? And I'm like,
No.
ooh, is it there? Like, I'm just, like, hoping magically it's there,
Like, did you try
Like
checking again?
yeah.
Oh
If you found it
no.
right now, it'd be real cool so that we
You'll
can
be
get out of the
sick.
doghouse.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So then as far as, once your kid came into play and you guys are again wrestling and navigating all these other things and balancing all these other things, when your child came into the mix, um did you guys do anything different to stay connected? Because I'm sure your schedules are changing and everything's changing. Is there something that you guys did? Maybe you guys went on, I know a couple that does like one date a month or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like
I
that.
think like, we've tried all that stuff, and, like, I do try to do 1 day a month. I try to buy her flowers every day, every Friday on my way home from work.
Oh,
We tried to, like, be like, "Oh, we gotta kiss 10 times a day because like
oh, that's
and, like
cute.
I don't know if any of them work,
Hmm.
you know? And, like, we mess up and we miss months, and I miss Fridays, and we don't kiss 10 times a day, but it's like, I think as long as you're still actively trying,
Yeah,
like, that's important. And I
sure.
do this dumb thing sometimes where, like, I'll get up, I'll do my hair, and I'll brush my teeth while she's asleep, and I'll get back in bed, and it's just because I want her to, like, wake up and see me and be like, "Oh, there's my handsome husband?"
Yeah,
And it's like, I think I don't know if it helps or anything, but it's like, as long as you're both still, especially after having a kid, as long as you're both trying something,
yeah.
even if it doesn't work, it'll work in some way.
Yeah, I think that it's always about the effort, right? It's always
Yeah.
about, not everything is always going to land. And actually my Mal, she's usually the one that co-hosts this with me. We were talking about that yesterday where we were talking about like romance and relationships, and she's married. She's been married for years now. And when I was telling her, I was like, I just feel like I feel defeated in this world of today where like is romance just not a thing? And then we kind of got into dates and dating and stuff like that, and how low effort we need dates to be, where it's just like, oh my God, just take me to Chili's, take me to Applebee's, just take me
Yeah,
anywhere.
yeah.
I just
Oh,
want
girls will go nuts if you just pick somewhere to eat.
to
Like, "Hey, we're
pick
gonna go
somewhere.
here."
Yeah.
"Oh my god."
No, it's
You'll be
so
the greatest guy she
simple.
ever met.
Yeah, no, literally, and it's all about the effort. It's not about where we end up going to dinner or going on a date or whatever. It's the fact that in your head you thought, I want to take her somewhere and I want to have my time with her. I want to have a date with her.
Yeah,
And like, that is what's important is the effort. Even if it's, oh, I actually hate this restaurant, but I'm really happy that you thought of this or whatever. I wouldn't even say that. I would
yeah.
be like, no, I love it.
Yeah, yeah, I'll find something on the menu to eat,
Right. Yeah. I'll get something. I'll make it work. Chicken tenders are everywhere. So,
Yeah,
um,
chicken noodles are
they
everywhere.
are everywhere. They're on every menu. That's my default. But yeah, I think effort, just like you said, is so important. Even if you're not, like you said, if you're not doing the kisses 10 times a day, if you miss a Friday here and there, the intent is there, the effort is there every other time. So if you miss one, it doesn't. it's not the end of the world. Whereas, if you constantly missed it, that's when it's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, you haven't got me
Like, does she
flowers
even
in 6 months.
care?
Yeah, like, do
Yeah.
you even, are
Does
you,
she even care?
right, right,
We're just
exactly.
both going through this. Yeah.
Exactly. The person that I'm seeing now will open the car door for me, and every
Yeah.
single time, but once in a great while, he'll miss it. And every
Yeah.
time he's like, "Oh no!" Like he'll get in his
Yeah.
car, and
Ah,
he's like, "Oh, I
shit.
fucked up," and I'll always like tease him about it. But he does it 95% of the time. So it's like,
Yeah.
and that's all it takes is just that little like, "Thank you for thinking of me." So it's
Yeah.
really that tiny little bit of effort is just so sweet. So then, yeah, I know we're getting towards the end of the podcast here. So I just kind of want to end before we get into the speed round. I
Oh,
want
speed round.
to,
That's what I was stretching for. I was like, all right.
get ready for it. Before we
Back on
kind
my
of,
feet.
yeah, before we get into it though, I wanted to just ask you, is there, because I know the part of what sparked my idea of having you on the podcast too was because you did mention to me before that a lot of guys, in the wrestling, that are younger will talk to you about, dating and their love lives and whatever else. So, do you have any advice for men, whether it's those men in general or anybody, as far as, people that can't seem to get it right, or just any sort of advice? I guess first thing that comes to mind, or first few things, whatever.
Man, first thing that comes to mind, I know this sounds dumb, is like I always tell guys, just work on your arms. Uh,
The biceps. Then they can eat sushi off of them.
yeah, exactly. But it's like the guys will be like, "Oh, I've been going to like one of the main questions as a kid is like, I've been going to the gym, trying to get abs, and trying to get this. I want girls to like me." I'm like, work on your forearms, biceps. That's like no girl's gonna like 90% of the time they're not gonna see you shirtless ever.
Right.
You know, and it's gonna be real weird if you start lifting up your shirt or whatnot too. And it's like, I feel like forearms especially, like girls go nuts for forearms
True.
and like hand. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's like I'm letting a secret out there. Like the girls don't want you to know that, guys, but it's like something about forearms is like
Yeah.
the main thing. And
It's
like you can,
strong. Like they're strong. When somebody has like a
yeah,
big forearm, you're like, oh, they can lift shit. Like, and you know
yeah,
what it is?
exactly.
Because like I mean, I think muscles everywhere are great. I think whatever, but something about the forearm, I'm like, he can lift a heavy box for me. Like
Yeah,
he can lift
exactly.
that shit up the
Yeah.
stairs for me. That's what I'm looking
You
for.
you can, yeah, exactly. So there's that. That's my first advice, and I think that's my silly advice. My like more serious advice is um, like just be down for each other. Like I know that's sounds simpler, but it's like I have a friend, and he always calls his significant other a down ass bitch. Uh, but it's like I always think like, man, Amanda will cut up chicken for me and get me Coke Zero and like, be like, hey, did you go lift? Or like, hey, like she's always trying to help me
Yeah.
achieve my goals. If I forget something for work, she's like, don't worry about it, I'll drive it to you, and like I
Mm-hmm.
try to do the same if she has a goal. It's like, okay, how do we get this goal together? It's like,
Yeah.
and like that is so if you find someone like that and you have a relationship like that, it's not just gonna make like work or wrestling or whatever your hobby is easier. It's gonna make like all of life easier because someone that puts that energy into you is also gonna like help you with everything,
Right.
and vice versa.
Yeah.
So
Essentially
just like
having a
when you,
partner that you guys
yeah,
are a
is
team.
I mean, yeah, yeah, just be down for each other. Like if like you like her, just be down. I also feel like dudes. I might just be getting on a rant here. I also feel like dudes and girls to an extent they'll do this thing where it's like as soon as they meet a girl, they'll start like thinking about all the ways she could be different. And maybe that's just
Mm-hmm.
because social media and there's like hundreds of girls scrolling at your face and reels
Right.
all the time. But it's like if you meet someone you like, just focus on the things you like about them. Like and you'll be happy, I promise. Like
Right. I think it's so easy. And I mean, that's a whole separate conversation because, like I said, I
yeah.
just went into the social media thing on one of my last episodes where I could talk about social media for days probably and how
Yeah.
it affects us as humans, as just individuals, as people in relationships, as partners, like it is so easy to, I think, break up with people nowadays or leave people because of one or two things that you don't like about them, because you're like, well, I'll just find somebody else who has them. And then you find
It
out one thing that you don't like about them, and then you're because there's
moving
the
on, moving
options are
on.
endless. Yeah, I mean, you could, like we
Yeah.
said earlier, if you want somebody, you
Focus
just,
on the things you like about each other.
yeah, I mean, focus on those things, and something that you don't like, okay, well, maybe you can like communicate about it. Like if it's something that I do that pisses you off or something, talk to me about it. Maybe it's something I can work on, or you're gonna have to deal with it. It's one or the other, right? So, and like
You're
let's
always
figure
gonna
it
have to
out.
deal with something from
Right. I mean,
someone.
yeah, and
Amanda
whether,
hates my taste in music, and she just puts up with it because she loves me.
well,
So
because all of the other things outweigh your taste in music. It's like you're a
yeah,
good person that cares about her, that treats her well, that is kind to her, and endless traits. So if you want to listen to whatever you want to listen to, by all means, like that's,
yeah, it's
I mean,
like
that's
great.
crazy. So okay, well, I think that was incredible. So now we're gonna move on to the speed round. So yeah, speed round. So it's just going to be a this or that, yes or no. And I will tell you beforehand, yes or no, this or that, whatever. Um, and then if there are any of these where you're like, ooh, I kind of want to expand on that, just let me know. We'll expand on it right after. But clear your mind. Clear your mind. All right, ready? Yes or no? Love at first sight.
Maybe.
Okay. Soulmates exist. Yes or no?
10 years ago, no. Nowadays, yeah.
Okay. Um, this or that. Fix the problem now or comfort each other first.
Oh, comfort each other first.
Okay. Jealousy is healthy sometimes, yes or no?
Oh, for sure.
Texting all day or save it for when you're in person?
Save it for when you're in person.
Private relationship or post your partner energy?
Bid trust. You already know
Yeah, we already
that.
know that one. We did talk about that one. Romantic, big, grand romantic gestures or daily consistency?
Both.
I love that. I knew you were going to
Just
say both.
both.
I knew you were going to say that. Yes or no, can people really change?
I mean, yeah, people change all the time. I mean, you just gotta want to change. That's
I agree.
you can't change. You can't. I don't think you can change someone, but like if they want to change, people change all the time.
I agree. I think if people want to put in the work and actually change, I think they totally can. I think everybody's capable of it. Um,
Yeah.
this or that, chemistry or compatibility?
I was never good at chemistry, so compatibility.
Is loyalty a feeling or a decision?
I think it's a feeling.
Okay. Can attraction grow over time? Yes or no?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. And then yes or no, do you think most people give up too easily?
Oh, for sure.
Perfect.
I
All
think
right.
I think 99% of people just give up.
I
And that's not
agree.
just in relationships. I think it's like,
The gym, everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say the gym, like, everything, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just we
Totally
live in
agree.
an instant gratification world, so it's just easy to give up.
Yep, exactly. I think that's kind of where social media comes in, where you just give up because whatever, I'll just move on to the next
I
thing.
wanted I wanted to go back. What was the loyalty one again? It's a feeling
Oh,
or a
feeling or a decision? Are you loyal because you feel like you want to be loyal, or is it a decision that you're making?
no, I answered that one correctly, I
Okay.
think.
You're
Yeah,
like, I think I did.
I think I did.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being on, Ben. I appreciate you. You are awesome.
Heck
Just
yeah.
a quick little like the spiel right now is I want to say that I know watching you and Amanda and your relationship and how just much you guys both really love each other. It's very easy to see whether it's a part of a gimmick or not. I know that it's not just a gimmick. It's you guys. What you guys have is really special and really wonderful, and it's so nice to see that, and it's refreshing. I love seeing you guys on my newsfeed in a in a world and in a time where everything is so negative and shitty. It's really nice to see what you guys have, and I hope that you guys continue to have that wonderful time and everything, and protect it with everything that you can. And then, really quick, I do want to just let you have the floor for a minute so you can talk about social media handles, where people can find you, any other kind of promo that you want to talk about really quick before we end it.
Um, I just want to say, like, because you were talking about putting all the cute stuff out there, I do that intentionally. Um, like the eating the sushi off the bicep, Amanda did not want to do. And like we filmed it and she was like, I didn't do my makeup right, my hair looks a mess. And then I showed her the video. It's like, look, you look at me right before you do this, and you like you give me this very loving look, and it's
Yeah.
very sweet. And you're like, I'm gonna do this because I love you, and like we need to get that out there. That's
Yeah,
it'll make
it's
people happy.
nobody's looking at. First of all, Amanda does not need a lick of makeup to be drop dead gorgeous. She's very, very pretty without all of that. But
Thank you.
yeah, nobody is paying attention to how much makeup or what you guys. It's all about the love there,
Yeah,
and it's very easy
yeah.
to see how crazy you guys are about each other.
Thank you. That's it. So that was intentional and manufactured. No, I'm joking. So spiel. Benjamin Trust. Let me get in character. Benjamin Trust, favorite professional cool guy, beater of dweebs, and I'm only good at two things in life, and one of them's professional wrestling, and the other thing's being good at everything else. So Amanda just walked in right as I said that. So uh, correct me if I'm wrong, and I never am, but you can find me on Instagram at Benjamin_Trust. I think I'm Ben the Jet on Zitter or Twitter or whatever we're calling it nowadays, and Benjamin Trust on Facebook. Follow me because I'm like cool and entertaining and awesome and rad and all that stuff and whatnot. So,
Awesome. And then are you wrestling anytime soon?
oh yeah, so I'm gonna because I'm like last night I did a run in and did my like big comebacks. I had a year off with an ACL injury. So like last night I was a big surprise entrance. I had a couple
We'll cut
more
that
of
out.
those planned. No, no, it's fine. You can leave that in.
Okay.
I got a couple more of those planned. So support independent wrestling, especially if you know I've been there in the past, because I might just come in and surprise everybody. But yeah, I got shows planned that are advertised, a lot in March, a lot in February, but I plan on surprising you, so don't miss shows.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you again, Ben, so much for doing this. I appreciate you. And we'll make sure that we put all of your social media stuff out there, and hopefully people will give some follows and show you guys some support. Thank you for being here. And yeah, thank you everybody for
Thank you for
watching.
having me.
Of course. Of course. You guys are the best. Thank you guys for
And if you watch
watching and
this
or
long, I'm
listening.
sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's been great. I've had a lot of fun. I've learned a lot, and I'm really happy that I got to talk to you about this. It's definitely, like I said, it's healing, and it gives hope in a way of like not everybody sucks, and some people have happy endings, and that's incredible. So
Yeah, there you
yeah,
go.
if you guys are watching, listening, whatever you guys are doing, we appreciate you, and we will catch you on the next one. Actually, you know what?